According to Amar Manhandi, April 2nd, 2015, he stated that Chicago's first quarter crime rates had risen 40% in shootings and 29% in homicides. That is, shootings had basically risen from 253 to an alarming 355. And the murders had been from a 62 all the way up to an 80. That is a tremendous increase, even for such a large population. A year later, April 2nd, 2016, according to Corey Feedy, things are even worse. For just the first 3 months out of the year, there have been 135 homicides. That is a 71% increase from last year. Shootings are up 73% at 727 reported. Wow, that is a lot of violence going on in one area. Chicago happens to have over $1 billion budget deficit. They have a multi-billion-dollar debt from pensions. And their unemployment rate is a 7.2% and rising. They have 27,000 teachers that are working without any contracts in their public schools, not knowing from day to day if they're going to have a job. These are all things that can contribute to society anxiety, making them scared, not sure whether or not they're going to be able to survive from one day to the next. This can lead to violence. Is it the problem? Only Chicago can tell that if they decide to take any action to find out the real core issues. So some suggestions that have been made that have worked for several other very large cities in other countries as well as here in the United States to help reduce crime rates are implement local programs to get the community involved and to help create new jobs and training, because with that lowers unemployment rates, but that also puts some of the community and society's anxieties at ease, allowing them to know that there's still going to be a way for them to provide for their families. Everybody has to provide for their families and eat. For that, provide something that gives them a little bit more at ease. With the shortage of police force, the focus on hot spots and hot people really needs to be improved. This can help to prevent and lower the violence that's already going on by localizing it to the biggest problem areas, because they don't have enough people to go around. They're going to have to make some cutback somewhere until they can properly hire enough people to handle the force in all areas. So localizing those hotspot areas would be an excellent idea. They need to also publicize this as a public health concern. That way they can help to set up and develop campaigns that are geared towards not only hoping that they can get the current issue under control better, but to at least allow for them to try and prevent the future generations from following these same footsteps and continuously repeating history. They need to avoid repressive policies. Let's face it, when has a repressive policy ever done any good for anybody other than maybe repressing those who are already following the law? Criminals do not follow laws. That's just proven. Criminals are criminals because they do not follow the law. Which means implementing better gun laws isn't going to do anybody any good except for the people who are already following the law. But then that makes it so that they're in a harder place and they can't protect their family, their loved ones, and themselves from the people who don't follow the laws. Because where there's a will, there's a way. So these criminals are not going to benefit at all from the repression. Well, okay, let's face it, criminals really will benefit from it. But nobody else will. Because as long as those criminals don't follow laws, they're going to still break those laws, have more guns, shoot more people, do more damage, but the people following the laws are not going to have a way to protect themselves until the government or society can get the violence under control. They need to find the core of the problem, discover what is at the heart of this issue, and actually address it and implement a plan to resolve it. When real problems are dealt with, crime rates have found themselves to lower naturally, and as fears subside, this makes for more comfort for society, and that means that they have less reason to act out with violence and other criminal behaviors. So although I don't know how to officially solve the problems of Chicago, those are a few ideas and areas that can be tried and implemented for the situation that they are dealing with, in hopes that they can lower their astronomical crime rates. Again, implement local programs. Campaign it as a public health concern, because it really is. Avoid repressive laws. They don't benefit anybody but the criminal. Find the core of the problem and be smart about it, and focus your efforts on the hot spots and hot people until you're able to fully build a proper force that would allow you to handle all areas equally.